Alright, so let's talk about the HMD Vibe. It's a phone that costs around 150 bucks. From the start, this thing actually stands out fairly well. From the design, it's really sleek, stylish. Well, and the matte finish actually surprised me fairly well. And it was really unexpected on how nice and clean this actually looked, especially for how cheap it is. And honestly, I loved it since I unboxed it. So for my first impressions, as I said, I love the sleek, stylish, and matte finish to the design itself. It got a large screen with a single dot camera, which kind of disappears when you're watching videos, thanks to the blacked out bars. The screen feels bigger than it is, and the overall design punches way above its price point. Now let's dive into the specs a little bit. You're getting 64 gigabytes of storage, a 2.4 gigahertz processor paired with a 1.9 gigahertz core, and a 13 megapixel camera, and around 33 hours of battery life. So the specs actually aren't that bad, and it makes it a lot more reasonable and desirable to get. So the performance, exactly how does it run and how does it feel to run? Because it's kind of a mixed bag, because when I first booted up, it was kind of sluggish. Probably just from the initial startups with all the juices and all the fluids flowing, just to get it all running and get going. It's smoothed out, but don't get me wrong, you're still going to notice a little bit of limitations, especially with video playback. Watching YouTube or TikTok, it's definitely going to be missing a frame or two, especially if you're actually looking for it. If you're not, everything's going to work fine for you. This is where a lot of budget phones often falter. They promise a lot of high specs for a little low price, but they just can't fully deliver. And that's okay, because that's not the point of the phone. There's a lot of cool things about this phone, and so this is the actual camera quality. It's 13 megapixels, as I said. It doesn't look that great, but it definitely does the job. It does good. It's a fine camera. It does what it needs to do. But here's the camera. This is what it looks like. It's 13 megapixels. What y'all think? Well, I actually had to dig for a lot of cool little things, mainly because I haven't used Android in forever. There's two things that I really appreciate that they put in this phone, at least from my perspective. There's screen refresh rate options. There's two of them, actually. You can switch between a standard mode and an adaptive mode. Now, standard mode is refresh rate at around 60 Hz, which isn't bad and will definitely improve your battery life. But it does introduce a slight ghosting effect when you're scrolling quickly. In adaptive mode, it's a lot smoother, nicer, cleaner, and sleeker. It's much smoother, bumping the refresh rate up. It depends on what you're doing, but it's around 90 Hz. It seems adjusted dynamically, depending on exactly what you're doing. It could be, I'm pretty sure it's between 70 and 90. I'm not 100% sure what that might be. And this is really a nice touch that you can switch between the two, because you have your own little preferences to mess around with. And honestly, I myself didn't expect this level of customization with this phone, because there's a lot you can actually do with this. Let's talk about the audio. It's okay. It's a little muffled. It's not exactly crispy and clear sounding as from a flagship phone as an iPhone or a Galaxy, but it's loud enough and definitely useful for what you need to get done. It's kind of exactly what I expected from this price. Another cool little feature is the HMD app that they actually have already pre-downloaded. It's basically an all-in-one app that lets you check your phone's logs. It also shows memory usage, battery health, signal strength, data usage, and even temperature of the device. This feature is really handy to keep your device running smoothly. But look, the battery life is fantastic on this thing. Since I first started it, I've only charged it twice, and I've had it for about 3 weeks now. And I use it pretty heavy, so it's got a pretty good and strong battery life for what you're getting. The storage is also solid, and if you add Google Drive and Google Photos, you can also add a lot of storage on the phone, so you can do more stuff on it and download more apps or games. It's also worth noting that, I'm going to have to correct me on this, either HMD or Nokia, one of them two are the parent companies of each other, which is fantastic, so that means you're definitely getting a solid device, and the reliability already baked into the phone. The one thing that kind of is weird about this phone is if you buy, I got this one from Walmart, it cost me 40 bucks, which is, but if you go on the HMD's actual website, this is $150. Why would you go on the website and go out of your way to wait for it when you can just go to Walmart and get it for like 50 bucks? Why wait for shipping, handling, all the extra bullshit to get it for more expensive? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, would I recommend this phone? Now look, if you're on a budget, yes, I would 100% recommend this phone. It's actually a really cool thing, and it's actually really nice and a lot better than I ever expected. Especially the heavy usage that I've been putting it through, it's definitely worked fairly well, and I actually was going to tell you not to get this, even if you weren't on a budget, but this phone is really well, and it definitely runs good. Now, if you're a power user like me, no, I'd say upgrade it to a better phone that moves a lot faster and does a lot more stuff and has a lot more storage. But that's just, I'm a heavy user, so like I need that type of stuff. But if you're just a regular person and just need a phone, this is 100% recommended. I do not care. This is a great phone. But even if you're not a fan of this, you always get a Pixel, an iPhone, or just an older Galaxy. Something in your price range, even if you don't want this one. Like, the phone does a lot for the price that you're getting it for. And I'll be honest, everything I've reviewed on these episodes of Budget Tech has been fairly well. There might have been one thing that I actually didn't like. I probably didn't even post it. That's probably why. But majority of the stuff that I review, or even just like budget-wise, is fairly well and fairly decent. That just shows you how well tech is actually getting. Now, I'm pretty sure $200 phones aren't ever going to be as good as a flagship phone or as an iPhone or as a Galaxy or a Pixel or a Huawei or something like that. Like, never going to be that good. It's definitely only a knockdown from the good flagship phones. So budget phones are definitely worth checking out. So if you really are on a budget, this is only $150 at most. If you really want to wait and get it from the HMD website and get their packaging and stuff like that, so you can have it for yourself. But yeah, it's definitely worth considering. So what do you think about HMD? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.